Okay, in this brief tutorial we're going to show you how to take your finished bitmap image and put it into Indesign, which will allow you to print it out on paper or as a PDF file.
Okay, we're in Photoshop, and here is where we're going to discuss the actual image, because the image is now a bitmap. It has no three-dimensional qualities whatsoever. And so it also doesn't have a background. That's what this checkerboard is all about. So hypothetically, if you wanted to put this onto a different background, you could. So if we open up a different image, for example, let's say we use this one again, we could take the logo and put it over this. To do that, we would go over here, select all, let's say, edit copy, and edit paste. Of course, if you want to get those images the same scale, we would have to scale this back. So if we're in the top layer, we would go basically to edit, transform, scale, and if you hold on the shift key, you can keep it in proportion. And you could do something like that. Now in this particular case, I don't think this adds anything, but in theory, you could make your logo image that way for print. So let's say this image may look a little bit better. So basically, all we got to do is edit paste once again, and there's our image. It's still a little bit bigger than the background image, but for this exercise, that's okay. So what we can do therefore is go to edit, transform, and scale. And we won't have to scale that down too much to get it to fit this image. And doing this, we are losing some resolution in the final version, but it may not be all that bad. So let's say that that is closer to what we want. We hit enter. And so let's say we want to crop some of this off. Basically, we use our marquee tool. And we can frame the shot. And image crop. So let's say, it's not perfect, but let's say that's what we're looking for. So we go ahead and save this. And we're going to call this Sports Talk. And we're also going to save it as a bitmap image. So in the Indesign file, this is all about print. It has nothing to do with 3D graphics and very little to do with bitmaps also. So if we make a new Indesign file, we're basically going to stay in the print area and we're going to use letter size paper. We could use any other kind of paper too, but we're going to stick with letter size for now. And if we hit OK, it creates a piece of paper. And so here, all we're going to do is place our image. So we do File, Place, and there's Sports Talk. And you'll see, if I click anywhere here, it will put this image onto the paper. So if I want, notice it's much bigger than the paper. So if I hit the first arrow, the hollow one has to do with the background. So we don't want to use that yet. The solid arrow has to do with the picture itself. So if I hold on the shift key, I can scale down that image to however big we want it. Now you'll see that there's rulers on the top and the sides of the page, and you don't have to know much about those, but let's get them calibrated right. And I calibrate those in inches, unless of course you happen to be in Europe, in which case you can calibrate them in centimeters. But if you wanted to put this exactly at a certain spot of the page, that's how you would do it. And if we go to our hollow arrow, we could use this grid here to either crop the image, like so. And if you click on this, you can just move it around. Now let's say that we want this to be the cover of some kind of a document. So let's say we put this in the middle there, just about, and all we got to do is add some text. And let's say we're going to draw a text box and say Sports Almanac. And as you can see, we can get in on this a little bit more. But let's say that I want Sports Almanac to be bigger. And here I can put it in any point size I want. And in the paragraph section, I can also make it centered. And that could be it. So basically the idea here is that we can arrange this any way we want on the paper. So I can center that picture over the almanac, and then I can print that out as a page. But it's probably better to save it as a PDF file, because that way that's what print has gone to these days. So File, Export, and it automatically chooses PDF, and we'll say Sports Talk. And just keep the defaults. It will generate a PDF. And this can be the final version that you email to your client, or do whatever you want to do. It'll print out perfectly well that way. And that's basically how you get it into InDesign.